Hello everyone, Stefan here. It's Friday. Welcome to the stream. Weekend is around the corner, and uh, and tonight we're going to make a Forrest Gump because last time, if you were there, Execute 24, he was there, and I asked what kind of movie characters would you like me to do, and he said Forrest Gump, and he suggested I think The Big Lebowski too. And even though those two are from the 90s, and for the game I only want to make characters from the 80s and earlier. I thought, I mean, how can you pass Forrest Gump, right? This is such an iconic guy, such a touching character. So I'm on board with that. So hopefully Execute will be happy with that whenever he shows up, if he shows up. But we're gonna still make this. Last time we finished, we worked on John J. Rambo, especially Rambo in his Rambo 2 version, First Blood Part 2. And I didn't change that much since I ended up the stream. Mainly I still felt like he looked a little too big compared to all the other characters, so I changed a little bit the upper body, and I also I added a very essential detail, which is the lucky charm that he gets on the Vietnamese girl in his contact in when he gets into Laos or at the border of Vietnam or something to get all the prisoners out, and she unfortunately she gets killed, and he gets the lucky charm. It's a jade Buddha on her body, and wears this as a sort of as a reminder, as an homage to her. So obviously we needed that detail on him. So I added this little thing at the very end, and that was it. That's our friend Rambo. Um, and now we're gonna do a character that's pretty different than Rambo. Even though in the original book, funny enough, um, um, this guy is actually quite beefy. You know, he's quite different than the way Tom Hanks portrayed it, and even his character and his demeanor, and is a bit different. They changed the character from the book. Book was written by Winston Groom in 1986, and then was picked by the studio. I can't remember the studio. They ended up making the movie in 1994, I believe, and that's Robert Zemeckis directing. So I mean, I don't even know where to start with that film. What a brilliant movie, really. I think if you have to name a movie that really emphasized, encompassed what America is, 21st century, 20th century America is, that has to be probably one of the big ones, you know. And what genius from that author to tell the story of America and all the big events that marked the end of the middle of the 20th century through the eyes of this guy, really pretty incredible. And Robert Zemeckis, probably the best director to be attached to this. I mean, I can't even think of one movie that wasn't really amazing from this guy. I mean, it did a few things that were not great, I guess, like Polar Express or things like this. But just look at um, the what's the name? Back to the Future trilogy. Absolutely amazing. I mean, probably to me at least, Back to the Future is in the top five. I think it walks that perfect line between comedy and action, entertainment. It's just such a clever movie in all regards. Castaway is, I think, probably maybe still his best, right after Back to the Future, at least the first one. Castaway was really incredible. What else did he do? So obviously Forrest Gump, a monumental movie. I think got 6 Oscars if I remember well. 6 Academy Awards. Got Best Director, Best Picture, Best Actor in a Leading Role, Best VFX, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Soundtrack, maybe something. I can't remember. It was 3 director, picture, actor, adapted screenplay, and there's another one, and I think it's visual effects actually, because it was actually quite groundbreaking at the time. If you remember, Forrest Gump ends up in all those crazy situations, meets Kennedy, meets Nixon, and so they plays ping pong at the the Olympics and all that sort of stuff. Ends up in Vietnam, all those crazy situations, and they found some footage of Nixon, Kennedy, like genuine footage, and they integrated Tom Hanks at the time into the footage, like if he actually met those guys, and that was really something at the time. I remember there was when I was in France. I remember news segments where they at the evening news, where they would talk about this film because they had an actor that was seemingly completely perfectly integrated into footage from the 60s, and it really blew everyone's mind. So I think it was um, a very interesting new way of using special effects. It's not necessarily to create dinosaurs or turning people into cars or whatever, but it was much more of a human take on the use of visual effects, and I think it really made a strong impression on people, especially the people I think who saw the news at the time. I wasn't born at the time, but I think the people who actually saw the news in the 60s remember this footage of Kennedy and Nixon, and seeing Tom Hanks seemingly perfectly integrated in those. It was something for those people. So I think, yeah, it was very much deserved that they got a VFX award for that. What else? So the book was written by Winston Groom in 1986. It's interesting because the book is actually quite different. The love story was very much in the backdrop in the book, and they made this front and center in the film. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I guess it was a scriptwriter choice. It was Eric Roth who adapted the book for the screen, and also probably a choice of the director. I'm not too sure about that, but the love story with Jenny was put in the forefront when and actually it's interesting because they only took a few chapters of the life of Forrest Gump. He goes into Vietnam, gets to become a Olympic champion in table tennis, meets Nixon, Kennedy. But in the book, he does a bunch of other things. He becomes an astronaut, a champion in championship chess player, and I can't remember something else. So there's quite a few things. The fantasy of Forrest Gump and his accomplishments in his life, they were actually much more important in the book than they were in the movie. And also the it's a different tone because the character is also quite different. They decided, it's interesting because I was talking last time about how Rambo, when they got to make Rambo from the novel, they sort of brushed out the less sympathetic aspects of Rambo, made him a more sympathetic character that doesn't kill people, and that is someone who you can relate to. and it's actually quite similar with Forrest Gump, in the sense that Forrest Gump actually in the book had some personal agendas, and it was far from perfect, you know. But in the film, Forrest Gump really only thinks about his mother Jenny, and you know, God. Or he's a much more simplistic character, if you will. He's more attached to a very few, very simple, very uh, yeah, I guess he doesn't really have a personal agenda, and is a much more a straightforward character, I should say. So yeah, I mean, that was a choice, but in the end, I mean, look at that film. How many people wanted to sit on that bench, which is not anymore actually on the site. It was in a little park that still exists, but the bench was moved and they put it in a museum. So you can't actually sit on the actual bench anymore. It's over. They let it there for a number of years, I think, but they finally removed it. I think probably because there was just too much traffic there. But people still go there to the little square to you know, to just reflect a little bit on that movie that made such an impression on them. Uh, and actually, a little bit of a personal note, I remember very well, very vividly, then when I got in the United States for the first time, and I think it was in 2000. No, it was not the first time I got in the United States, but one of the first times, I think, or if not the first time, that I got to the end of Route 61, 66, on in Santa Monica. There is this spot where it says Route 66 starts here, and it is one of the spots that, if I remember well, Forrest Gump uses as sort of you know, a turning point into his mad run across the United States. I think he runs around 15,000 miles or something. And I remember when I was there for the first time at that particular spot, thinking of Forrest Gump, thinking of that film, and how Forrest Gump made this turning point right there where I was standing. So that was quite a moment, actually. Some other things about, actually, it's interesting because Forrest Gump, the whole running thing wasn't in the book at all. They added this, and I think it was a very brilliant addition. Totally fit the tone of the movie, like this sort of random act of, like, you don't even really understand what goes through his mind at this point in his life. You know, it's like, especially at that point, we know, with everything that happened to Jenny and what's his name, Forrest Gump Jr. You know, you feel like he probably needs to clear his head, or to really think about what happened and reflect on his life, or you know, who knows what the reasons are. But it feels such a great moment to see him running like this, and all the people running after him and following him for, they don't really know why either, you know. So but they feel like something's happening, you know. It's one of those moments where people they get into this sort of communion, and they're not sure why, but they feel the urge of following someone to maybe in the search of something that they're not sure what it is, you know. And I think they can relate to him at that point. I'm not sure. I'm still thinking about that whole scene regularly. What it meant, if it meant anything, but it sure is one of those things that's I think is brilliant, because years after you've seen this movie, you can still remember that, and try and you know, find a meaning to it. Wow, what a film! Really, what an incredible director Robert Zemeckis. Such a brilliant vision. Um, there was a little sad sort of backstory, more of a Hollywood thing. The author Winston Groom, when they optioned they bought the rights to make the movie, they paid him $350,000, which you would think is a lot of money, and it is by most, you know, normal people standards. But But think about it, the movie made $677 million at the box office, right? That doesn't mean that this is the net profit of the movie, and I'll come back to this, um, but it made 677 million. Movies cost $55 million, according to Wikipedia, which usually is pretty accurate about that. And the crazy thing is, Winston Groom, when he signed the author, when he signed his contract, he said, "I want $350,000, and I think 3% of the net profits of the movie," which you would think landed him a fortune. Well, it turns out he didn't get a cent. He got $350,000, and that was it. And the reason why is because then the studio said that they argued that they actually didn't make any profit in the movie, which, if you ask me, I don't even know how the math works. The movie cost 55 million. In the box office, it made $677 million. So it's more than 10 times what it cost. Usually you count on a normal movie, you double the budget of the movie for marketing costs. So even if the movie cost 55 million, maybe it's like 100 million, 120 million, all included marketing and everything. There are still close to $500 million, more than they made. A good portion of this money goes to distributors and theaters and all that stuff. But still, arguing that they didn't make any profit on Forrest Gump, it is stretching it to me. But anyway, that's what happened. And what's kind of sad is that the Tom Hanks, and both Tom Hanks and Robert Zemeckis, who probably were more properly consulted by lawyers and agents, they didn't ask a percentage of the net profits, but they asked 1% on the gross income, which is just the money that was made by the sales in theaters. And so that made them both $40 million. So think about that. The guy who wrote Forrest Gump, he wrote the story, the entire thing. Without him, there would have never been any Forrest Gump. And it's generations of people loving this movie, loving this character. Made $350,000. Tom Hanks made $40 million out of this movie, and Robert Zemeckis made $40 million. And I'm not saying that Robert Zemeckis or Tom Hanks are not like huge talents. They're huge stars, huge talents. I'm not questioning the impact that they had on the success of the movie by any means. But when you think that they made $40 million and this poor guy who wrote this story made $350,000, I think that tells you something about Hollywood and how it works. I mean, people know that the writers in Hollywood, they're really at the very low, very bottom of the barrel in terms of what they get in terms of money. I think it's a little sad because Hollywood also knows that without a good script or a good story, you never ever get a good movie, regardless of whatever you do. So when I mean a good movie, I'm talking about a movie that will gain you Academy Awards and stuff like that. You can make very profitable movies without a good story, but I don't think you can make very good movies without a good story or a good script. So anyway, that's kind of kind of sidetracking there, but I thought that was an interesting thing that I was reading on Wikipedia, and did a bit of search on that, and I was like, wow, really. There's a silver lining though. After that, Winston Groom, the author, he sued the studio, and they ended up selling the story because they bought they bought the rights for the sequel to Forrest Gump, which is called Gump and Co., for $1 million. So he got some money back. Not nearly as much as he could have, but he got some money back. But eventually, they never got to make the sequel because there was the after the attacks on 9/11, the both the scriptwriter and Zemeckis and Tom Hanks thought that the tone of the book was not relevant anymore. The story was not relevant, so they decided to scrap the sequel to Forrest Gump. So probably will never be made, but you never know. Things might change in the future. Anyway, so that's kind of like the little introduction to Forrest Gump. Also, I went to Bubba Gump, the restaurant in Santa Monica, which I actually recommend. It's a good shrimp restaurant. It's a genuinely good shrimp restaurant. If you like shrimps, I recommend you go to Santa Monica and go to Bubba Gump. It's a chain that opened after the movie, which is really weird. I mean, they decided to to take the name and make an actual restaurant chain out of the movie, which is interesting because in the sequel of the movie or the book, actually Forrest Gump gets into the business of shrimp, since the first book ends up on him starting the business, and in the second book you see him going on with this business. But if you happen to be in Santa Monica, you can do two things that are related to Forrest Gump. You can go to see, and it's very close to each other. It's a walking distance. You can go to have lunch at the Bubba Gump restaurant on the pier, and then you can go to where Route 66 starts and see where Forrest Gump actually turned around on his mad run. So there you go. So anyway, we're gonna get into it. I think I'm gonna make, obviously we're gonna make this pose. I mean, the bench scene. This is the scene that people remember, I think, the most, even though there's so many amazing scenes in that film, but this has to be the scene that probably people remember the most. It's on every cover of every soundtrack, every picture, promotional picture. Very, very iconic. So we'll do this, and you know what, I think since we're there, we'll probably make the bench as well, because it's gonna be weird to have him sit in thin hair. So I'll just make the bench as well. So okay, Forrest Gump, yeah, really a movie that I'm gonna remember for a long time, I think. But Castaway too, from Robert Zemeckis, I think is really incredible, and also featuring Tom Hanks, the brilliant actor. So characters, let's go there. So I have to see if I can start with someone. I need someone wearing a suit, obviously. I mean, this guy could do it. Or I guess that probably needs and as usual, I'm gonna scrap pretty much everything. It doesn't really matter, but it's more for proportion. You know what? I'm gonna take. I think we're gonna take Bill Kilgore, because he's fairly simple. I think we're gonna take Bill Kilgore just as a starting point. And there we have it. This is a little smaller, I think. There. I got two pictures here. This one because for the pose is perfect. But I got this one because this is much more natural lighting from the actual movie. This is more a promotional photograph, and you see how harsh the key light here is. So it's definitely, this is a photo studio. You see how like the big harsh highlight on his forehead is typically what they'll call a kicker on a character, is when they use the light to to really carve out the face of an actor. So this is a very different lighting. This is a studio lighting, and also the colors have been treated a little weird, so I don't really trust the color of the suit. But it's good for the pose. But this is a very natural lighting, so this is good for our values and colors in general, I think. So we're just gonna take I really don't like light suits or light outfits, because on the white background never looks the best, but that's what we're gonna have to deal with. So we'll try and make this work. I'll pick some color close to white, then we'll see if we can we'll have to outline him a little bit. Yeah, simple characters like this, they're often very deceiving, often more complicated than you would think. Actually, I found them more challenging because when you're making Rambo or things like this, there's a lot of things that the eye can, you know, pick on. There's a lot of visual interest on something like this. It's a little more tricky because really all you have is, you know, a suit, and there's not much going on either in terms of silhouette, you know. Not much going on in terms of silhouette, or not much going on in terms of overlap. By that I mean, you know, in the case of Rambo, there's a interesting overlap of the arm against the body, you know, things like this. In here, I mean, not much, so it ends up looking like a little bit of like a blob, you know, something that's not quite clear. So it's always more tricky than it looks actually. But we're gonna try and make whatever we can. It's kind of a shame because I have a headache just starting about right now. I have to go take a pill for that because I don't want to end the stream prematurely. We're going to define the waistline as early as possible. Probably around here. We don't want him too wide, you know. Some shoulders a bit. And here this is always a problem because it's hard to get a shape of the arms and the a read on the forearms versus arm, the foreshortening, all that sort of stuff. So probably have to draw a little bit there, just something, you know. Hands somewhere in there. Oops. I think we're gonna have him hold the box. Two options is either we have him hold the box, or we'll have him just hands on his lap and then the box sitting on the suitcase, depending what works best. We'll see. It's a sleeve. Yeah, I'm always a bit scared by these characters. I found them always more challenging than I would like. I have to determine where this line goes. and I hate going into drawing outlines or things like this early on, but I don't really have a lot of masses to work with. You know, I have this and I have that, but this is all one mass. It's actually, that's why sometimes I need to outline a little bit, almost like you would do with you know, a line drawing. Not my preferred style, but in a case like this, this is probably something we have to do, unfortunately. You know, what I'm thinking is, in a case like this, I would probably, it would maybe not be a bad idea to switch into Sprite, because Sprite has a good mirror drawing painting feature that could come in handy there. This character is pretty much symmetrical. At least we can start symmetrical and then introduce a little bit of asymmetry later on. But I think painting a symmetrical might not be a bad idea. We'll deal with the head later. Doesn't really matter for now. I'm gonna bother with this. So we have to think about that color here plus the line there. How much space do we need? So I think probably less of a sleeve, because we need more real estate in that area. So one thing I can always do in a case like this is this. It's always better to paint symmetrical if you have a software that does that, but since I'm in Photoshop, I'm gonna do this. Let's see, the problem is that we don't want it to look like super big. So we'll have to be very very gentle with that. It's definitely going to be a tricky one, I can tell you already. I know from experience, I think that this is the kind of character that is always more difficult than it looks. But we'll try to make this one. It's a little better. I think I'd like to have this, you know, going on, especially with the shadow. So then we have, here we have so foreshortening, just a bit of thigh, and then we need to go probably down in value and suggest we need to suggest this, the you know, the knee. And so one way of doing this is just to go darker. Because the thigh is getting light, right? So this is brighter and this is a bit darker because the light hits right on top, you know. This get brighter and this is a bit darker because light doesn't hit it right, you know, from perfect angle. So we overdo that here quite a bit, but it doesn't matter because it's just to get a sense of how we can make the reed on the leg. Then we'll have go a little darker even. And we'll have socks somewhere in there, and then shoes. We'll try to get this the feet right, but for now, same thing. We don't really matter that much. It's just to get started. Where I need to pay attention with the length of this compared to torso, you know. So we'll shorten torso with pants. If I take the entire leg, it's about torso. So yeah, not too far off. You're too short, too long. You're gonna have in between the legs. Here I'm not painting symmetrical. I could, but it's so fast that we can just do this. So I really want to get this sort of what makes the character look like a little innocent, you know, is this angle, right? Legs are not perfectly straight. They have this interesting angle. So we're gonna try and get this if we can. Oops. Don't want to overdo it, but if we can make it work, that would be nice. Let's see what this time comes. This will be an angle too. That's just it's the starting point, really. I mean, this is quite ugly. Bear with me. We all know that if you've been here, you know how uncertain this first step is. It's really the time not to be too shy and you don't want to second guess too much. You want to go with the flow, try to get a nice, interesting, you know, block out. And it's not about being perfect. Eventually, hopefully, we'll get something that we can refine. Let's put just somewhat of a suggestion of a bench. Very simple. That will help maybe to define things. So bench, Where does that sit? About here, maybe. Okay, we'll deal with that later. And then we'll have, oops, come on. 1, 2, right? Way too much. Let's see, where is that start? About where the hands are. 1, 2, 3. Too much? No, it's about right. I think. Not great, but you know, this is, like I said, this is the beginning. I think here it's gonna be a case where we're gonna have to really play the top light as much as we can. This is gonna be difficult for sure. But we're gonna see what we can do. It will be the top light here, top light. But we can't go too far because unfortunately it'll look like super bright. Here I'm just trying to suggest some folds and some lighting in this jacket. Very tricky because then we lose the outline, and we can't really lose that too much. We need to keep this, I think. I don't want him to look too beefy and wide in the shoulders, you know. It's kind of a tricky thing to do with this sort of stuff. I'm gonna go a little less with the top light. Maybe just a hint. Just a hint of light. I think it's a bit too bright. Maybe like this would be enough. Eventually we'll give it a bit of coloration to the whole thing. A little bit of a tan maybe, just so it looks a little more friendly, but for now I'm just really worried about trying to get a read on things. Not their precise colors or anything. Hands should be fairly small. It's definitely a tricky one, like I said. I think this is way trickier than it looks. But, you know, we'll try to make this work. So if I'm not talking too much at the moment. I'm just very focused on trying to get this, so forgive me. Would like to try and get a bit of angle there. See this? You see this angle there? Right there. Very straight right now. Makes him very rigid, very monolithic. So if we can get a bit of an angle with the sleeve, that would be nice. But at the same time, I don't want him to look too big either, so some kind of trick. That's a bit better. I think it's good to have a little bit of a symmetry, you know. You don't want things to be too perfect, too straight. But I really want him to look like he's not big, you know. He shouldn't look like a big dude. You know, wide, too wide in the shoulders or anything. That's a bit better, I think. It's not the most interesting character to do in Pixel art for sure. Let me copy just gonna copy a head real quick. Usually I like to use heads that are, you know, already done, because at this size they always end up being about the same. To find the proper I don't want a long neck. I like the long neck, makes him a little more vulnerable, you know. Something like this. I'm gonna kill this and just copy this over again because I really want to make sure the width of the shoulders is right. Yeah, so that seems better. It seems about right. Ideally, I'd like to have that tilted head, but I'm not confident on this at all. Not a single second that I can pull that off. This is one thing that is going to be pretty much impossible to get. Very difficult. Also want to make sure I get this clean shave on the side. Hair is really dark, so we're trying to do this. So that's a bit more like him. Okay, should be. Let me see if. Okay, so the box. You know, I think the box I'm gonna have sitting on the. Because I'm worried that this is gonna be just way too much information. I'm a bit worried about that. I mean, I guess we could play the bright orange bow, but not sure this is the best idea. Let's just do something real quick, okay? Just to get a sense for it. We need a shadow there. I think it's going to be difficult to get something interesting there. We need to mark that box quite strong. I said, you know, this sort of stuff easily become problematic. Now we can try the you know, there's definitely a fold there. You know, it's clean pressed pants, so it already creates this nice clean cut in the lining. So I think we can try and get this. We need to choose direction for lighting. I think I'll go from outside in, so this side will be lighter. Maybe. Something like that. We'll eventually you know, work on values. I think we can go more contrasted there, but at the moment I just want to get the basics done. Yeah, I think this can have more contrast. To a certain limit. Actually, we'll give him a little bit of a tint, but for now, I think it's a bit premature. I have to work on those shoes eventually, but right now, still not really happy with any of this. So shirt, there's some kind of thing we need to do here. Oops. We'll do that for now, and then we'll do some too much. That's as bright as we're gonna get. And then we have a checkered pattern. Let's try and get this. Okay, so that's basic without lighting. Or belt, but again, how to show this? I think it would be nice to have the belt. This will help separate the pants and everything from the box. And try. Wish this part would be clear. think we could have box higher, like this. Here we have our pants, like that. On that, it's belt. Difficult to get this right. I think I can go even double for the belt. As well use it to really separate the box and make a clean read on the box. Come back for the bow later. I just want to make sure that I got the basics right. Clean read of the box on the hands and everything, and then once we get this, hopefully we can come back and try and get that that little bow there. So that's like this. Guys, I'm going to pause the stream for a few minutes. Just time for me to take a painkiller because this headache is getting more and more present, and I think it's gonna be a problem. So bear with me for a few seconds. I'll be right back. Hey guys, sorry about that. I'm back. Hopefully this should help. So let's go back to our friend here. You know, one thing I was thinking last time, I forgot to tell you. I was mentioning all the Vietnam War, movies. And God knows there's been a few, and all the ones that I really liked and mentioned a few. And actually, Forrest Gump has an interesting segment about Vietnam and quite a lot of um, quite a strong message about Vietnam as well. The whole thing with the Garrison Eyes and how handicapped he ends up and all that sort of stuff. Very reminiscent of Born on the 4th of July. If you remember this film, I think it's another Oliver Stone film. Tom Cruise. Very, very strong film. Got me close to tears actually about Born on the 4th of July. It was very, very. It was a difficult film, I thought, to watch. But yeah, it's not. Forrest Gump is not too dissimilar to this, and but there is one film if you guys want to. If you guys are interested about Vietnam and the films that were done in the 70s, mainly about that, you have to watch The Deer Hunter. It's a Michael Cimino film. It was made in 1978, I believe. Let me quickly double check. I just want to make sure. Yes, 1978. What a harrowing experience, really. Like, I think it's a film that that if you watch it, it's gonna haunt you for a long time. But it is really remarkable. And it's the story about those three friends actually, that are of Russian origins, living in a working class town in the Midwest, I think somewhere, or maybe on the East Coast, something like, I don't know, maybe Philadelphia or somewhere in there, or Cincinnati. Is it Cincinnati? I don't know. I have to. You know what? I have to. I don't want to say stupid stuff. The plot. Yeah, Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's what I thought. So and and the and so they they volunteer to go to Vietnam. And the I think that a good half hour of the movie, the first half hour probably, is just, it's one wedding, and one of them gets it's his wedding right before going to Vietnam. I think they fly out the next day or so, and the guy gets married and all his friends are there, and they're all from the same, they all work in the same factory, probably some kind of like um, steel factory or something. And they all share the same kind of simple life, but kind of a honest life. They work hard and they drink quite a bit and all that stuff. But you can tell the friendship there is between all those men. There are five. I think there are five of them, and three of them will go to Vietnam, and two, at least, no, three of them stay behind, and three of them go to Vietnam, and and then after that, and you after the wedding, you see they go hunting in the mountains, because that's the thing that they love to do, on the weekend or on Friday night. So they go hunting all night or part of the night, and and you can see more of their relationships as they go hunting. And, and then after that, then you follow them to Vietnam, at least the three of them, and I won't spoil what happens, but they go through hell over there, like literally hell. Something that is that really will change someone forever, you know. And one of them is played by Michael. He's played by Robert De Niro, and he's a much stronger dude. He's like, I mean, not only physically, but I'm talking psychologically, and he's the only one who's able to take it really over there. The the sheer sort of like mental trauma and physical hardship they go through, only you can tell that only a few people can really take, and he's definitely one of them, and he carries them through the experience. He really carries them. That's the really incredible thing about that film. He refuses to let go, you know, and he carries his friend through everything. Not only he actually physically carries one of them, even though he's injured and everything, but he also carries them psychologically, you know. And without him, there's absolutely no way that that they would you know, that they would survive any of this. But the film revolves around a couple of lines that they have an exchange right before they fly out. One of the weakest friends, it's not weak, but he's just a normal dude, you know. He's just a regular dude, and he tells his friend, Michael, the tough one, because he knows, he senses that Michael is a different type of person. He tells him, no matter what happens, you have to promise me that you will bring me back. You will not leave me there, no matter what. And Michael, he promises, you know, he says, yeah, sure, you know, I'll bring you back no matter what. And then the film after that revolves around that promise, and the amount of what Michael will go through and what he will do to bring back his friend, even though he completely loses track of him at some point. But he's determined to bring his friend back. And this is such a story of friendship and character, and all of that is just, oh man, I get goosebumps just thinking about that film. Really, it's just, I think everyone should see. It's one of the films that everyone should see in their own in their lifetime, no matter what. It is a painful experience at times, but it's such a beautiful movie. There are scenes in, the cast is just stellar. What's the name? So Robert Niro, Christopher Walken is also the two friends is Christopher Walken and Robert De Niro. What's the name of the actress who's like got like a million Oscars? I can't remember her name. Let me see. How come I can't remember her name? Meryl Streep. Just probably I think one of the really the roles of her entire career for me. With maybe you know, the bridges to Madison or something. Just incredible. John Cazale. So John Cazale is a very interesting actor. I think he played in about 6 or 7 movies in his entire career, something like 7 movies. All of them got nominated, and I think won for best movie at the Academy Awards. So basically, this guy, he had such a good insight about what movies would end up being good, that every single movie in which he ended up either winning the Academy Award or being nominated. He was in The Godfather. If you remember Godfather, Fredo, the brother who ends up betraying Al Pacino. Michael is Fredo is that's the guy, John Cazale, remarkable actor. Everyone in the profession in Hollywood, Meryl Streep. He was good friend with Meryl Streep, with good friend with Robert De Niro, and they all said that he was the best of them, you know. But unfortunately, he died pretty young. But he was probably one of the best, if not the best actor of his generation. But he's not nearly as well known in terms of, if you say John Cazale to many people, they'll be like, "Well, who's this guy?" But when they see him in the films, then they're like, "Oh, this guy! I remember this guy." And he's such an incredible actor. So The Deer Hunter and Michael Cimino, 1978. You ought to watch this. You're going to be changed by this movie, I think. And there are a few scenes. So it's called The Deer Hunter um, because they like to go hunting, you know. And Michael is a hunter, and then he keeps hunting when he comes back from Vietnam. But you see, even in the way he hunts after that he's changed. His whole perception about his whole idea about life and death and everything has changed. And that's something. It sounds a little cheesy when I say it like this, but believe me, it's not. It's really it's just incredible. I think it's one of the best movies ever made. I think it won the Academy Award for Best Picture too. Let me check. But yeah, this is this is really something. There's been some controversy about some aspects of it that I can't really talk about without sort of spoiling the entire thing. But I still think it's a pretty unique movie. I don't think there's that many like this. And to me, the best film about Vietnam, hands down the best. Oh, it's funny because when I look at this, I feel like there's, oh well, actually no, I'm not that far. I thought there was way more foreshortening on the forearm, but actually I think I'm not that far off. Actually, if anything, I could go a little higher, which I don't mind. So that's actually quite rather better this way. If you guys have movies that you really like and that you want to share here, please do so. I'm always eager to learn about movies that I may have missed. And so if you guys have something that you think ought to be seen, then please let everyone know, or the few people that are here. So we're getting better. I think we're getting a bit better. I wouldn't say that it's stellar, but it's definitely a bit better. I'm not a big fan of how the sleeves. I think it's probably better if we don't have too much. Maybe something like this. So now I need to really try and get this. Do this. Yeah, that, you know, that curve there is kind of nice. Not necessarily easy to get, but especially with this checkered Makes it all difficult to read. Just gonna make this simple for now because I'm getting confused with everything. Something like this, and we're gonna try a shadow there. So I'll show you one quick trick for shadows. Create a new layer on top of whatever you're painting. Put this in multiply. So you're gonna multiply every color. Whatever you paint there will be multiplied by with what's underneath, and so what this does is that basically everything will get a little darker, and then you can, with the opacity of that layer, you can set up the amount of the intensity. So let's say we're going to take black, pure black for now. If I multiply with pure black, what does this do? Everything becomes black because I multiply by, it's basically multiplied by 0. The result is 0, right? This is your value, this is 0, multiplied by whatever underneath equals 0. So it's still black. But if I play with the intensity, the opacity of the layer, now I multiply with a color that's not 0. And so then I retain a little bit of what's underneath. So then you can easily create a shadow and then set up the intensity that you want just with that opacity layer. Right, so that's kind of cool. The only thing with using black is that you'll end up with a shadow that's a little bit gray, it's a little bit dull. So what you can do is, instead of putting black, let's say we're gonna put a little bit of blue in the shadow. Usually shadows tend to be a little more blue because of they only get their color from the skylight. So we'll take some blue there, and then same thing, we'll paint 100% opacity blue, right? And then now we can play with the opacity, and so now we get also a nice shadow, but it's a little bit more vibrant. It's not as dull, as gray as, you know, the, so that's kind of cool. It's a good trick to do a shadow if you wanted to see. Very simple, and see, it gives quite a bit of depth to the character without really doing much anything special. It's pretty simple to do. Deactivate now, just for try and get a bit more of the same ID here. Try this. Okay, back to the shadow. If I don't remember the color that I used, I'm gonna put it in normal 100%, and then I can pick that color and then paint with the same color. Go back to multiply and then set up the intensity. Something there and there. Done. So we have our shadow now. That's a bit better for him. We'll try to get a bit of just anti-aliasing there eventually, but for now it's okay. I don't think we need to worry about that too much. I'd like to get this sort of you know, lighting there, but it's a bit difficult to render. And at this point, I'm not trying to be perfectly accurate to this. This is more like an inspiration. I think generally that's something that I think to me, it's good to try and keep in mind is um, don't don't try necessarily to be like 100%, accurate to your reference because it's first of all sometimes you'll get crazy trying to get it and you'll get frustrated, and also I think it's good to exercise judgment. Sometimes things they don't really work the way you want at that size, so you just have to make an sort of interpretation of what you see. You don't necessarily have to get exactly 100% accurate. You can just play with it a little bit and find what seems the most appropriate for that situation. And that's why I think I've talked about this a little bit, but I know some people they tend to say that you should only use references that are appropriate to what you're doing, and hence if you're doing um, pixel art, then you shouldn't use photo reference, realistic reference, because well, it doesn't really apply one to one, and it sure doesn't apply one to one, but it doesn't mean that you can't still get something, some kind of information, some kind of inspiration from it. So I would never. I think to me it's still valid to try and use use reference. Look at what you have and try to get the best. For get the essence of what you're looking at, and not necessarily a one-to-one translation of it. If that makes any sense. So I think this is getting interesting. We're just gonna do a quick size check. See if nothing seems too crazy. Probably legs a little bit long. We're gonna take care of this. But in terms of torso, I think width of the shoulder seems about right. Waistline seems about right. So I think we're in pretty good shape actually. Yeah, I think it's doesn't seem too bad. I think we got lucky there. Maybe a bit white still. See a couple of pixels. But we'll see if we can just take off one pixel. I'm not sure it's the best idea, but we'll see. This guy definitely is a little small. It was one of the earliest that I did, and I think I'm gonna have to go back on him eventually. Yeah, I think he's not too bad, I think. Yeah, I think should be good. Come on, I'm still tempted. I'm still gonna try real quick. I never like to leave things open, you know. I'm always willing to do a little bit of something if I can. I'll do it real quick just to get a sense for it. And if that doesn't work, then I'll have to adjust the legs to refer. I don't know. Maybe not. Ah. Hmm. I think. It's tricky. I think it's not necessarily the shoulders. I think it's just I think maybe the arms are getting a little too much there. I think we can go a little less. Get rid of that bench for now. Let's see if I'm not sure I like if the arms are too straight though. At the same time, it gives him a slightly more. You know what? I think I'll keep one side. Makes him a little less symmetrical anyway, so I don't really mind that. And anyway, if you look at this, there's definitely an arm that goes out more than the other. So I think it's fine to do that. Yeah, I think it's fine to do that. Maybe I could do... I kind of like to have the clean cut on the... I think this says very much suit to me, you know, when you can see a clear border between where the arm, the sleeve gets into the... So I think I really want to keep... I like this. And as a matter of fact, I kind of want to get this on both sides, I think. Let me see. Yeah, I think I like this. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. So we got that. I think here I can have a little bit more light. Don't have to be too symmetrical, you know. It's getting a little too dark, maybe. Should use maybe this color just to get it clean. Yeah, probably better. As usual, if you guys see something that that jumps at you, please let me know, because I know the value of this. People can see it's a little long on the torso since it was. Yeah, well, I guess that depends on how high you're sitting, right? Because I think what matters to me is the waistline, don't you think? Like if your waistline is about the same, then you're good. I think the legs are too long though, because then if this is foreshortened, then this is way too long, right? So I think for me, it's not necessarily the torso that's too long, but I would say it's rather the legs that are too long. Does that make sense? Or am I confused? Is it? No? I don't know. I think it's more that. Than the... And actually, even this is probably... I think this could be even more foreshortened. Probably. Not too sure. You know what? I'm gonna do symmetrical for now on this, because I don't want to spend too much time there. have to get this sort of a shadow. Real quick. Okay. Did I miss one pixel? Whoa. Maybe that's more in line. What do you think? Is it too long in the torso though? Maybe it could get 1 pixel off or something. I don't know. I mean, what about indie? How does indie look? If we assume this is, I think it's. I mean, it's a bit longer. I guess we could take 1 pixel off, probably. Let's see what it does. That feels better or not. Why am I taking this off? Maybe there. The only thing is, I think the only thing that I'm worried is that a little shorter makes him look a little wider. It looks like he's a bit more beef. I think when he's a little longer, it's a bit more in line with what you expect from this. You know what I mean? So I think maybe I want to keep the. Is it better with shorter leg? Yeah, I think it's better. Yeah. We'll do that for now. Let's bring back the bench. I'll give us a feel for it. Oops, my shadow. I mean, I feel like if I, okay, let's try. I feel like if I remove 1 pixel, I'm gonna keep him there. Then I need to shave 1 pixel there. It needs to be a little less wide. We're getting into gnarly changes, but hey, it's fine. I think it's okay to try. I don't mind that at all, actually. What do you guys think? I think this is a better size. Isn't that a better size? Oop. Bit big there. It's like, brr. That seems a bit more. I don't mind the big head. The fact that his head looks a little big. Because look at the size of his head compared to his body, you know? I think that's kind of what makes him look a little bit like a kid. And that's kind of what the character is, right? He's got this sort of, you know, I don't know how to put this, but you know, he's a little bit like a kid all the time. So the big head, I think, kind of fits with him. I'd rather have that, I think, than the opposite. It's better. It's better with the short, the smaller body, you think? So you like better big body or small body? Smaller body. Yeah, I think too. I think it's better. Let's bring him back again. Yeah, I think that makes more sense compared to Rambo and all those guys. It's crazy how 1 pixel can do at that size. I think we're gonna go with this. And if we have a massive change of heart still, I'm gonna keep the big one for a little while. Okay, but like I said, I like to commit at some point, so we're not gonna keep this for too long. It's really, we feel like it was a mistake, but I think we'll commit to this. Oh, what happened there? Look at all these little guys. It doesn't seem to be willing to go away, so that's not very good news. A bit of a so that's doing this. Trying to unify just a bit the palette. That's about right. Okay, I think we could mark this a bit more. Oops. Said more. Oops, that's not very good. Just a little bothered by this edge there, so I'm gonna clean this a bit. What now? So, okay, so I think we got something that's about right-ish. So box is here, little hands. Let me try and get those shoes. Feet, for some reason, they always scare me. I don't know why. It's something that's only, I guess it's because it's only a few pixels and they always end up never looking like I want. But yeah, I don't like shoes. I don't like feet in general. I think no illustrator, artist, whatever, likes feet or hands. It's kind of a common stress. But we have to do it still. You know what? It's not too bad actually. Got lucky there. So what about the dirt? Should I do the dirt? I don't know if I should do the dirt. I think it's just gonna look weird. We'll try to do a little bit of dirt. I think we can deal with that. The important thing is the socks. So what's the deal? It's like one red, one blue. I don't know if I have enough to do this. It might be a case of red, blue. I think as long as we can feel it, it's probably enough, right? I mean, it doesn't need to be like super in your face. I'm gonna commit to the shadow now. So I think we're good with that. Oh wow, I missed a bunch of things in the chat. I mean the hops is small. The head feels small. The head feels small? Really? Are you sure? But looks close to the other cat. Even though the two lines can be wrong with the legs when you get to it. So even shorter legs, you think? Yeah, maybe. I don't think that the head looks small, dude. I don't think so. I mean, it's about one head on each side, right? So head like small as in not wide enough for you. It's fine. You're playing with me. That's what you're doing. It's not nice. Okay, we'll come back to it. We'll see. We'll see the very end. If there's always time. The thing is, heads is it's kind of a weird thing because, like for instance, this guy is a small head than anyone else, but it's on purpose because otherwise he looked always not big enough. So I purposely made a small head so that he looks like a bigger guy. But I think his head is bigger than anyone else. I think he said, "Oh, I wanted to add. I'll do something after, right, for this guy. I forgot to add a little bit of stubble on him. I think he looks too clean in the face." And someone on Instagram mentioned the fact that they want to see a nose and a mouth, which seems like so inconsistent with me. Sometimes for some reason I put a nose or a mouth or an indication of something. Sometimes I'm nothing. I'm completely inconsistent with this. So I think I'm gonna have to make one pass once and for all on every character and decide once and for all what kind of facial features I want to put in the faces, because right now it's all over the place. And it seems such an important thing, but I don't know why I disregard this. It's very weird. Okay, Forrest. What else? Not too happy with what's going on here. It looks like it's got a big ass with that pixel there. Okay, remove this. Oops. So getting there. Inconsistent there. What if I should try and no, maybe here though. Let's do that. Oops. No. Hold on. It's too aggressive there. Ah. Hold on. Let me do this. I want that line to be too strong there. Big fan. Okay, Forrest. We need a bow on that box of chocolates. Let's do this on another layer for now. I think we need a big strong color there, like a real strong accent, because people will remember, especially the fans. I think they'll remember that color very strongly. Little trick, if you want to go, like, especially for that sort of stuff, you want to go deeper and deeper in color. So you say, oh, let's say this is my midtones, and you want to go deeper, like in the shadows there, and especially for stuff that's self-bouncing and has a lot of heat, like gold and self-reflection and stuff like this. What you can do is take the same color and paint in multiply, and you would saturate and go into the same sort of hue, but it'll shift the hue, and at the same time it will saturate. That's a good trick if you want to if you don't want to have to look for the right color, if you know what I mean. It's just a bit of shadow. Probably need to do this. Oops. Just go a little wider. And it'll highlight maybe. For a thing like this, we can go a little, bigger than, more obvious than it is. Because here, really, this is about, it's such a statement, it's such a something that people expect to see, that I think if we go a little too shy, then maybe go like this, maybe. More on the side. I think it's better on the side. Okay, so we get that. So bow. I think this can go darker with the with the belt. What else? I think here I need to keep the pattern there, so at least an idea. Something like that. That's not too bad. Getting close. I think we're getting close. Am I missing a big? Oh, so suitcase. So no, let me finish the guy first. Here I'm gonna go perfectly symmetrical. I think it's something we can tolerate. I don't think people will be too offended if I go perfectly symmetrical here. A little pixel of anti-aliasing there I like, because it makes for something that looks a little bit softer, like fabric. That's the only case where I tend to do that. Generally, I don't like to do this too much, but I think in that case, it's something we can do. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna put a little more dirt on one side and just create just a bit more symmetry there. I think it's okay to do that. Looks like he's not. Is he too low on his bench? Let's see. Yeah, I think we need to see the bench between the legs, right? And then probably foreshorten this even more. Maybe 1 pixel like this. And this with that. And then the bench we can go, we're gonna multiply just to feel the connection. Let's bring everyone down. Oh, the shadow. Okay, so he's sitting very much on one end of the bench. That's what's funny about, oh man, I did the shadow in the, that's okay. That's what's funny, is that he's sitting on one end for the other people to come in and chat with him. There. Put a bit more rendering and everything on the bench eventually, but so how long is this thing? It's pretty long. May change this a bit, but say something like that. It's actually got more space on the side too. I kind of like him on this side. I'm gonna go like full on real proportions, I think. Oh, we need some space for that suitcase anyway, so might as well give him a bit of so suitcase. Let's do that real quick. Kind of a beige-ish color. Sits on the bench. How big is this? About a third, about there. Got a dark outline. And then a little bit of perspective. Might as well. like this. And there's a little line. Gonna go more. And even, can we get the two lines, I wonder? Oh, I need a lot of space. I'm not sure this is good. No, I don't like that. I don't like it. I think I'm gonna keep it like this. And here we could do that. That would be okay. That's a bit weird. No. So like this. A little bit of a highlight on top. Something simple. Don't need to be too crazy about that. I need to make sure it reads nicely against the bench. Does he have I guess there's a handle on this thing. Can't really see it. It's like an orange handle, is it? What is this? I think it's the handle, right? I think that's what it is. We'll go like that for now. Ah, worse tangent. Hold on, let's fix this. Same, but worse. Okay. It's, you know what? Let's forget the handle for now. Bye. Okay, we got this. So bench needs to be a little more brownish, so we're gonna bring back a bit more red in it, you know, like so. So what else do we need? Should I do, hold on, let me see this real quick. I think it would be nice to fill just a little bit of perspective in the seating area of the bench. I don't know if I can make this. So we just feel just a tiny bit of perspective. Would be okay. Just a bit of perspective in the bench, you know. Now just a tiny bit of lighting. Suggestion of whatever. want to do this. Too much. I already barely want to show anything. Okay. And now we need to do the stone, sort of stonework. I think legs feel too short. I think they're too short. Don't you think? I think they're too short. I'm gonna add one. Wow, okay. 1 pixel. How about that? I think that's better to me. I'm gonna throw a little bit something in there. Feels like too symmetrical, but deal with that. Okay, so now we need to do this thingy there real quick. Okay, it's pretty, shouldn't be too. So I'm gonna go this way. I'm not gonna go like, you know, like, well, actually it's the same there. Well, see it here, it's like a 1 point perspective like this, but I think I'm gonna go like more isometric. We'll see. Maybe not. Actually, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we got that. We got that. Under. I'm gonna go fairly neutral, but just a bit of blue, very light. Or no, actually, I don't want to go blue. I'm gonna go a little tan for the stone, because this is like more of a I think the picture has been treated, so yeah, I'm gonna go more neutral, not blue. So we got something like this. I'm just gonna do a simple shape for now. Go dark. Oh, too high. It's probably enough. So we're gonna just 1 pixel. Yeah. And then we get the thing, and we get the other thing. Okay. Now, light this side. Comes here. I'm gonna mess this up. I have a feeling. Dead silent. It's focused right now. It's focused time. I like to have a little bit of a roundness to it. Ew. Oh, it's okay, I guess. It doesn't need to be like super advanced. Is that alright? It's got the let's see how it looks. Oh, it's gonna be worse. Oh, terrible. It's just right in the suitcase. We're gonna move everyone over and make a bigger bench, I think. You know, screw it. Oh. I don't want to think to compete too much with him. Okay, move everyone. Ah, no, not you. Oh. Oh. Something like that, maybe? Do a little bit of a finish. I don't know. This cut. I'm gonna do a little bit, just a little bit of lighting there. At least it doesn't feel too, like this. Now, there should probably be some kind of shadow too. They look a bit massive, those things. Want it to be too big, you know. Okay, I think that's better. Oh. Oh, just a bit of something there as well. Okay. We play with contrast noise. Yeah, I want to feel the light more. Yeah, I think we can do that. So this is getting close now. Is there a big something missing, or not? Where are we? Oh, I realize I haven't flipped at all. Oh God, it's gonna be terrible. Okay, so head is messed up. That's fine. We need to do head a bit more conventional. Okay, so yeah, that's okay. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a suitcase. Just a tiny bit of lighting there. I think it could go quite dark actually, underneath, to separate it from the bench. What else? So our guy there, I think now I want to do that last little thing where I like to take, I'm just gonna take the suit and play with overall contrast and everything, try and give it a bit of a tint, just a little bit of a tan, especially in the highlights. We'll see how it goes. Contrast first. Just a notch, and then I want to go highlights and give him just a bit of color. See, I feel like it's a little better. It's too much, but we're gonna finesse this. I think the tones can go just a bit too. Hold on. You know what? Let me go back. Remove the contrast. We're gonna do color first, because this adds contrast anyway. Just a bit, something like this. It's a bit more vibrant. Yeah, I think I like this better. So pants here, kind of weird. You know what? If we see the socks on one, we don't need to see the socks on both, right? Because we've sold it. So I think one thing we could do is try and play with this side. I have no idea what to do though, which is not necessarily a good thing. Kind of want to go darker, do it kind of a different, slightly different something like this. I think I like that better. I have no idea what I'm doing, guys, so just bear with me for a second. I'm just really trying out things. I like to feel the shadow. Just gonna make this a little less aggressive, like this. Wish I could. No, I don't like any of this. This was better. I don't want the pens to look too wide. Yeah, you know what? Actually, yeah, this is better. We don't need this line. Yeah, I think this is a big win, actually. Yep. Go a little bit brighter. Top of the shoes. Make them really stand out. And I kind of want to go really dark there too, because usually shadows go really dark, you know, and under the sleeves. So I think we can do that. Like that. Separate the hands. We could do just a little shadow there. No, I don't know. No, maybe not. That's alright. Should try and put the buttons. I think it's gonna look huge and bad, but we'll try. I'm trying nonetheless. I think it's alright. We can afford the buttons. Oh, darker? Maybe? Let's try darker. See what looks best. No, definitely lighter. This is okay. So do we need anything else now? I mean, is it done? getting really close now. Someone has a request, something to try. Speak now or be silent forever. No, not forever. You can always speak later. Everyone's asleep anyway but me, so that's fine. I'll you know what, I'm gonna do a little shadow on the bench just for fun. So we'll do a multiply. Select the bench just for fun. See if we gain anything from that. Just to separate. Oh, not necessarily that shadow. Just to see if we can separate him a little bit more. Wait. Okay. Take this. Oops. That's fine. Yeah, I think we could. Oh, you know what? You could shadow the briefcase, the suitcase. How about that? Let's try. Whoa. Just a bit. Yeah, I think that's nice, no? Is it? I don't know. Is it too complicated? It's too complicated, right? Bit of lighting on this. So make sure this is more. Oh, so everyone's not asleep actually. That's good. We'll try to make sure I'm more flat since it's a suit. But it's minor. Oh, you mean like this straight. Hold on. Like more like boom, like this. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, we can try that for sure. Let's try it. I haven't decided for the shadow again. Should I do that? Maybe it's just complicated, you know, it's complicated for nothing. I don't know if we need to do that. I think it's just messy. Let's try to shut the shoulders. I think it's a good suggestion. Is it what you meant? Not exactly straight. Yeah, no, I got you. Like this? I don't know if that gives him a look a little more, like more stern and sort of serious. And I think I get what you're saying, but I don't know if for him, maybe for him that's what we really want. It's that last pixel, I think that causes trouble. Maybe. Yeah, one less pixel, definitely. Yeah, you read my mind, or I read yours. Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, I think we can do that, definitely. Yeah, thanks for that. That's good. It's good feedback. What is this thing here? What is this? That's a little weird. Let's fix this. Well, I think I think I'm gonna be calling it soon now. It's getting to a point again where I feel like it would be good for everyone to sit on this for maybe a day and night, and come back tomorrow and see if how we feel. But I think he's all right. Turned out a bit better than I was expecting. I was actually very worried that it would just look absolutely terrible. But I think it's all right. I mean, considering what it is, it's just a guy on the bench with a suit, so it's not really the most exciting thing ever. It's not like, like buttons and super like bandana in the wind and muscle. This is more exciting, but as long as people get it, hopefully they recognize him. Oh no, it's because last time, I don't know if you were there. There was this young guy, execute. He was there and he was nice. He chatted, and he gave a bunch of suggestion and everything. And then he said, "What you're gonna do for the next one?" And I was like, "I don't know. I have a bunch of characters in mind. I have a list, so we can pick one from the list. Or if you have suggestions, you can give me a few suggestions, and then I'll see if I can find them in my list, and then I'll do that one." And then he said The Big Lebowski, and he said Donnie Darko, I think, the rabbit, which is really cool. I mean, they're all awesome characters actually. And then he said Forrest Gump. So three really good choices. Unfortunately, all movies from the 90s or even the 2000s, and I think in the case of Donnie Darko. So I told him, well, I'd rather have them 80s or prior because of the sort of vintage feel and everything. Um, but then again, I was like, Forrest Gump. We want to see whatever. We can still make Forrest Gump. It's a cool character. It's gonna be a fun challenge. So maybe I'll use it. Maybe not. We'll see. Doesn't matter. So I told him I would do Forrest Gump if he shows up, and I think he didn't show up. Let me see. He's not there. See, but it's fine. I'm a man of my word. I said I would do Forrest Gump. I made Forrest Gump, so I'm happy with that. So there, get my hand of the bargain. So, well, yeah, that's the story already. There's nothing else to it. But yeah, definitely not necessarily in line with what the timeline of the game would be. Uh Sorry. This is a bit too. Hold on. I hate when I see that one pixel. Um. yeah, I mean, oh, shall we? Okay, so we got this. So we got gonna name stuff now. So that's Forest. That I don't know what this is. This is another Forest. Oh, that's Forest with the shoulder. So that's the other Forest. That's the suitcase. For now, I'm gonna keep everything separate because I don't know what I'm gonna do with this eventually. Shadow. Maybe I want to keep the bench and stuff, you know, for something, you know, an environment or whatnot. So might as well keep this separate. Bench. Just a little bit of maintenance. Sorry. Take a minute. Forrest Gump here. What a brilliant name. Everything is brilliant about that story. I mean, what a writer. I'm actually curious to read the book now. Yeah, we've made some progress since look at this, how big he was. Whew, that was a big forest. Okay, we don't need you anymore. What is this box? Hold on. Oh, you know, whatever. So okay, we're good. So that's it. So I just wanted to add, before I close the stream, I'm just gonna add a little bit of stubble on our friend there, Rambo. There you go. That's more like it. Come on, Rambo. Oh, you know, yeah, but you know, I mean, we never know. Maybe we'll use it. I don't know. Actually, hold on. Let me do one thing. Just notice this a bit weird. I think we're gonna fix this bit. Yeah. Yeah. I think we're done for tonight. This is Forrest Gump, 1994. Robert Zemeckis, one of the, if not his best movie to me, because to me his best movie is still Back to the Future, but still in his three incredible ones that he did, including Back to the Future and Castaway, definitely to me quite a resume there for that man. That's something. Yeah, so I think we're done. I'm gonna be so I won't stream on the weekend as usual. Eventually, if I feel like I'm getting stronger, and I may and you know I may end up streaming every day, but for now every other day is a good pace for me. But I think I'm gonna face the issue of prototyping for the game, where I'm gonna have to take days where I spend a lot of time just trying to figure out Unity and prototyping and all that crap, and that's gonna take a whole lot of time. And so this may impact my ability to stream for a while, because I'm not sure that I want to stream my this, you know, my experiments in what's the thing, in Unity. I don't think it's going to be fun for anyone to see that. Just a guy struggling with finding stuff in the menus and just compiling code and whatever. So we'll see how we deal with that. Definitely want to try and stream the whole process eventually, including code and design and all of that. But I think I need to be a bit more comfortable with actual Unity in order to make this a little interesting for people, because I'm nowhere near the level in Unity that I have in Photoshop or in art, you know. So I need to learn first before I can pretend to stream. I think I don't want people to just you know, be there and be bored out of their minds, you know, just watching me struggling with everything. So we'll see how we deal with that. But in the meantime, it's we're closing in on 3 hours now, so it's not too bad. Thank you everyone for being there. Thanks Julien for the good feedback, good suggestions. I'm gonna close it now, and I want to thank everyone, all the people that were here, even for a few minutes. It's always good for me. And please hit that follow button, because I'm at 46 followers now. 4 more and I can pretend to be affiliate with Twitch, which is, you know, still something. Not it would be a life-changing event, but you know, I'd still be glad to have it. So if you like what you've seen, then you can hit that follow button for me. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys on Monday now, 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. But as usual, you can look below the stream and you see the countdown for the next stream, and it's to your local time, so you don't have to do the conversion. Okay, thanks guys. Good night or good day, depending where you are, and have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Thanks. Bye.